Welcome to the BXG Podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet.
You think it's just going to be barbecue sauce?
Because if you actually read those books, it's just gobbledygook.
I really think clothes should be mandatory.
Speaking of Star Wars,
Captain America.
trailer reaction video. Chainsaw Man. Oh. Chainsaw Man. Episode 5. This episode was awkward, maybe a little uncomfortable. Denji got his squeezes. He's got his 3 squeezes.
Yep.
And then he was like, is that it?
Yep.
And then his boss, Mimika, was like, oh no, you gotta be intimate with that. And by the way, if you kill the final boss, I'll give you whatever you want. And he's like, whatever I want, whatever you want, but whatever I want, whatever you want. And then we get a little bit more backstory. Get a little bit more backstory on the ponytail character. Why can't I think of his name?
I was just home ponytail guy anyhow. So
I know, but let's show a little bit of respect. Here it comes. Yeah. Well, I mean, given the context, Hayakawa, Aki Hayakawa.
yeah.
Get a little bit more of his backstory that this gun devil basically eradicated his family in front of him, and then he teams up with Eye Patch, and they become partners, and then they're loaded up with this ragtag group that has to go into this hotel and find, like, we find out that the gun devil, which is clearly like the main bad guy, final boss of at least this part of the story arc. And it moves so fast that bullet shells just fall off of it, but then are attracted to a giant magnet. And so they find a devil with the that has a fragment of this in their quest to try to track down. And this is where I think now, like, we're getting into plotline narrative wise what the actual season will end up being about. Like, now we've introduced all the players, and we've kind of gotten to know, especially Denji, Power a little bit, Hayakawa a little bit, and now a little bit more. Like, so we know who everybody is, and now we're like, okay, we're gonna focus this in on what the actual plot line is. And so they go in and they find this little walking severed head that has like hands on it.
God, it was hilarious.
So freaking weird. And we learn about Eye Patch's like pact that she made with the ghost devil, that she can just like basically force choke people.
Yeah.
It's cool. So, and I think what's going to end up happening there is, this is just my long-term prediction, and I have not read the manga, so I don't know, but I think that at the end, because we saw Hayakawa's devil that he has like a link with. Now we've seen this one. And I'm sure that there's more out there that through the course of the story, we'll see like more and more powerful of these like packs that these different characters have. I believe that the end game will be that Denji makes a blood pact with the gun devil. That's just my thought. I just feel like that would be pretty obvious just from having watched shows like this in the past. Like, that's kind of how these things tend to work out. I could be way off the mark. I could be not even in the same hemisphere, but that's kind of like my prediction. And we'll continue to watch and see where that goes. But I mean, you had a strong reaction to this episode because you did text me about it as you were watching it. And so what were your thoughts on?
The beginning was so hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm literally watching this during my kids having Spanish class, which they have a different person teach that. And so I'm watching it with just subtitles.
Sure.
And not, because you don't need, you can just watch it. It's fine to watch it. and I'm like dying. Like I can't actually laugh because so like inside I'm dying because it's like his like her like little bra padding falls out.
Yeah,
And
Powers.
it's so funny. And like Powers, and he's just like so disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny. I thought that was amazing. And then, he gets the next thing where it's like, oh, well, if you do this, you get anything. And I'm like, is this just like a teen movie from like 1998? And that's kind of what I felt like. It was just like this 1998 teen movie in the best possible way. Because I think those movies are stellar and like very much in that era, but still very funny. And it made me really laugh. Once it started getting to like the gory parts of it, I was a little less out because it was just, I see what you're saying with like the packs and stuff. I've never watched it. I don't really watch these. I don't read manga. And so I will say like you're probably right. I have no idea. My thing is just like Denji is just kills me because he's just like, he has no idea what he's doing.
He's a moron.
He's the dumbest person in any show ever. It's like, it's so funny. It reminds me of like Andy in Parks and Rec, where it's just like, he reads what's in front of him, and that's literally the only interpretation he has of anything. And it's great though. But he's also Chainsaw Man. So at the end of the day, he can still just be like, I need to do whatever, and I turn into Chainsaw Man. So I will say this episode was not to me like that good because the head guy cracked me up. Like I almost fell backwards when the head guy came out.
He's just
I was like this. It was like an Addams Family thing, and I was just like, this is so weird. But like, I think this is what makes this show at least like. I'm glad we're doing it. I wasn't like, I'm not hesitant to watch anything. If you recommend it or if you suggest, I'll do it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Some things are just harder to get into because of like everything else we try to do. But when Head Guy came out, I was just like, this is why we watch this. Like, because this show is not supposed to be on the rails. This is supposed to be a train, literally like the video you would see of like those old school like videos, the black and white, where the train goes off the track into the ocean. And like, that's the show. It's not trying to ever be on the rails.
But it's so entertaining.
It's so entertaining. Like, it flies by.
Yeah, the episodes are so short.
But sometimes episodes can be 23 minutes, Brenton.
Mm-hmm.
And they can drag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, is this ever going to end?
Yeah.
And this is an episode where literally you're like, holy crap, this is hilarious, or it is what it is, and it's over. And you're like, they cut it so well too. Like, you don't know it's the end until it's just, they do it. Like, boom. Because it's always, whatever.
Oh, I guess we should say that the ending, they kind of realize that they're stuck in one of those like MC Escher situations where they're just on the 8th floor forever.
They're just on it. They're just there forever.
So that's another like kind of one of these it's kind of a genre trope a little bit of like, oh, now we're just in somebody's dream or whatever. And that's probably they're gonna realize that the devil that they're actually fighting, maybe it was Headman Devil,
is themselves.
Well, kind of, right? And it'll be something to the effect of they're all in some type of hallucination, whether it be like a sleep-induced whatever or some type of psychedelic, who knows? But that's probably, that's my prediction there. But I just find this show to be so entertaining. It's so funny at times because of how ridiculous it is. I do like that he doesn't go full Chainsaw Man in every episode, so it like makes it special whenever he just bugs out, and because he completely changes
his shit.
Yeah, he's like snarling and growling and laughing like some type of schizo, and it's just it's really fun. I think that's the best word for this is this is a fun show to watch.
100%.
But I did feel a little awkward during whatever I want. Whatever I want. Whatever you want. So, well.
And he doesn't even know what that means. Honestly, like, at
Right.
the end of the day, like, he doesn't even know. Just like,
Yeah.
can I touch your waist? She's
Yeah.
like, sure.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Yep.
Cool. And that's his thing.
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Oops.
Oops.
All right, moving on.